Okay. Okay. And God stepped out on space and he looked around and said, I'm lonely. I'll make me a world. As far as the eye of God could see, darkness covered everything. Blacker than 100 midnights down in a cypress swamp. And God smiled. And the light broke. The darkness rolled up on one side, and the light stood shining on the other. And God said, that's good. Then God reached out and took the light in his hands. He rolled it around in his hands until he made the sun. And he set that sun ablazing in the heavens. And the light that was left over from making the sun, God gathered it up in a shining ball and flung it against the darkness, spangling the night with the moon and the stars. Down between the darkness and the light, he hurled the world. And God said, that's good. Then God himself stepped down. The sun was on his right hand. The moon was on his left. The stars were clustered above his head. And the earth was under his feet. And God walked where he trod. His footsteps hollowed the valleys out and bulged the mountains up. And God stopped and saw that the earth was hot and barren. He stepped over to the edge of the world and spat out the 7 seas. He batted his eyes and the lightning flashed. He clapped his hands and the thunders rolled and the waters above the earth came down. The cooling waters came down. The green grass sprouted and the little red flowers blossomed. The pine tree pointed its finger to the sky and the oak spread out its arms. The lakes curdled down into the hollows of the ground, and the rivers ran down to the sea. God smiled again, and the rainbow appeared and curled itself around his shoulders. Then God raised his arms and waved his hands over the sea and over the land, and he said, bring forth, bring forth. Quicker than God could drop his hands, fishes and fowl and beasts and birds swam the rivers and the seas, roamed the forest and the woods, and split the air with their wings. God said, that's good. And God walked around and he looked around on all that he had made. Looked at his sun, looked at his moon, and he looked at his little stars. He looked on his world with all its living things. And God said, I'm lonely still. God sat down on the side of a hill where he could think. A deep, wide river he sat down with his head in his hands. God thought and thought until he thought, I'll make me a man. Up from the bed of the river, God scooped the clay, and down by the bank he laid him down. And there, this great God Almighty, who lit the sun and fixed it in the sky, who flung the stars to the most far corners of the night, who rounded the earth in the middle of his hands. This great God, like a mammy bending over her baby, kneeled down in the dust, toiling over a lump of clay until he shaped it in his own image, and then into it blew the breath of life. And man became a living soul. Amen, amen, amen.